Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
You got that game off to a good start with that jump ball play. Is that kind of a good tone setter a little bit?
I mean, it was definitely exciting just to get the crowd going, to get our team going with a big play. Wilton made someone miss and gave me opportunity. So I mean, the energy based off that play was pretty nice for our team.
Where does that win rank amongst all the wins you've been a part of? I know A&M last year was pretty crazy, but just beating USC, is that make it?
Probably number 2. A&M was probably number 1 just because probably one of the most historic comebacks in college football history. So, but that was for sure number 2 for me. That was a pretty awesome win, great feeling.
A close 2? Close 2?
Probably a close 2, yeah.
How did it actually feel knowing you knew a lot of those guys in that team that you played a big part in that win?
I mean, it felt awesome, but like the thing is, like half of those SC guys are still like my close friends. Still text me to this day, congratulate me. All of them came to me just telling me how happy they were for me, and because I mean, it wasn't like we had a bad fallout, but that was definitely motivation and just motivation to get that win, but really just for my team. We haven't beat USC since I've been here, so for us to get that win and how our season has gone, but to get a big win like that is just really awesome for our team morale and just for the season as a whole. So I mean, I was really happy with that win for sure.
We were talking to Justin Murphy about this yesterday, but what does it say about the discipline of this team that Chris Murray gets a punch thrown at him, he doesn't retaliate, and then before the fourth quarter, USC's dancing on the field, you guys don't really bat an eye, you don't really get provoked by that kind of stuff?
I think that just shows the maturity of Chris Murray as a young guy, because I feel like earlier in the year, maybe like during fall camp, he would have responded, but I think he's just matured so much in the season and knew that by him being patient and not responding, it helped our team win a game. And then just I think about them dancing on the field, that's the thing about Coach Kelly. He's never been into that type of stuff. He's always just showed us like that doesn't win football games. So I give credit to Coach Kelly on just preaching, and all the rest of the coaching staff just instilling that in us. Where it's just like, hey, dancing doesn't win you football games. Like just executing your plays, doing your job wins games. And so I think that showed.
Do you feel like this time last year you guys might have gotten into it a little bit? That might have been the mentality of last year.
Maybe we probably would have responded a little bit differently, but I'm not sure. But I mean, I'm proud of how our team responded after that.
What do you think has kind of been the biggest change that Coach Kelly's implemented with this team as far as the process of kind of doing it his way?
I mean, I feel like all of us just kind of believe just through his resume and through his teachings that his process for what he wants is successful, and it teaches us how to be a better team, teaches us how to be better men, it teaches us just how to be better like teammates to one another. So I mean the season hasn't been like, oh, we're 10-1, but we every single week we see us as a team improving, we see us getting better in all aspects on and off the field. So I feel like we just have to continue to trust it and get better and better.
So I guess the big question is, do you want to be part of that next year, or are you you coming back next year?
Right now I'm just focusing on Stanford, and then we'll see where that goes.
What will go into your decision?
I mean, I'll probably just go through the process of just filing for a draft grade and those type of things. But like I said, right now I'm just trying to focus on helping my team get a win against Stanford.
How much will it help having your dad, somebody who's in the NFL, and doing that evaluation and weighing the pros and the cons?
I mean, I definitely have good insight with him, and he'll always be honest. He's not gonna be a typical parent where it's like, oh yeah, you're the best, you can go do this. He'll be honest. I mean, and I always appreciate it with my dad. He's always honest, and he always gives me good critiques, and when it's good or bad. So when that time comes, he'll definitely be a person who can help me. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I know you guys have no control over the schedule and when you play which opponents, but is it kind of nice to end with USC and then Stanford, a team that you haven't gotten to beat yet, kind of to parlay it into next year?
It really doesn't matter to me. I'm excited for either one. Stanford's always a good team, and I feel like they're always fun to compete against, and they have a lot of great players there, and so we haven't beat them in a little while too. So I mean, that'd be an awesome one to finish on. So I'm just excited about our team and to go against a good Stanford opponent.
Do you feel like they've kind of become like your second rival next to USC since you've gotten here, just because you guys haven't gotten a chance to beat them?
I'd probably see them like that, but I kind of look at every game as a big game. But Stanford is definitely an exciting game. I like it. I like the energy of that game a lot.
Was that, you talked about great wins, was that Stanford loss 2 years ago when you guys kind of had them, maybe the most crushing loss that you've had since you've been here?
I didn't play that much that game. Okay. That was kind of when I just first started, like getting some playing time. But I mean, our defense really, I remember that game, our defense really did so well, and just if we could have scored a few more points that game, I feel like we could have came out with a victory. But they had a lot of good players that made some plays at the end of the game. So, but I mean, all losses are tough to me, but that definitely was a hard one.
Do you have any plans to go through the senior day ceremonies on Saturdays?
No, I don't.
How does it feel to know that this is your last couple of days as a UCLA football player?
Definitely bittersweet, but looking back, I'm proud of the last 4 or 5 years that I've had here. Had a lot of memorable experiences that I'm definitely going to remember for the rest of my life. So I think just reflecting back on it, it was kind of cool just to sit down by myself with my thoughts and just kind of think about it all.
If you were to go back and talk to your freshman year self, like the first day of coming into camp or whatever it was, what would you tell yourself?
I would just say that just to believe in myself, because I think when I came in as a walk-on, I kind of just kind of understood that what my role was on the team. I didn't really have high aspirations for myself. I kind of just took it day to day, just kind of went through the motions a little bit. So I think I would just tell myself that I had to believe and believe that I had the potential to be a starting receiver here, because really I think that's what kind of separated myself last year and this year from the years prior, was that I just really believed in myself. I put the work in, and then I worked my way to get to where I was at.
How was getting that win over SC your senior season? How was that?
It was great. So 5 years I've been here, so I've won. That was my second one. So definitely coming off a 0-3, the last 3 years against them, it was nice to get that W.
And then if you could build off that with the Stanford, how meaningful would that be to kind of go?
Yeah, that too. I actually haven't beat Stanford at all. I don't even know how many years it's been since we beat Stanford.
10.
So 10.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So obviously that's going to be big for not even me, just the program itself. So definitely going to try to get that win as well.
We were just talking to Caleb Wilson about it. Has Stanford kind of, because of that losing streak, have they become kind of the second rival to USC for you guys? USC being the main rival.
I guess you could say that. I think really all teams, but most, definitely the California teams. I would say Coach Kelly has kind of made that point that this is like kind of the California State Championship. How we've beaten Cal and we've beaten SC. So Stanford is going to be the last opponent that we got to beat to kind of take control of California, if you could say.
As you're getting ready to leave this program, what do you feel about the future of it now that you're getting ready to be in on?
As for myself, for the team.
For the team.
I think they're in the right direction. We had a lot of youngsters that played this year, so they gained a lot of experience this year. And I think moving forward, especially if we come off this last game with the W, they'll have a lot of momentum going into next season. Despite them being young, I think they've done a really good job of playing as a team, playing as a unit, and just embodying like Coach Kelly's messages and the kind of things that he's been saying to us. We've stuck together despite having a rough season, and I think we saw that last week against SC. We pulled together a good game and we had a W. So I think moving forward next year, they'll definitely be in good hands.
Do you think there's any sayings or just the way things are run that will help you in your professional post-football life that Coach Kelly's brought that you find helpful?
A lot of things that he says to us, sometimes they seem cliche, but one of the ones that I really like is "So what, now what?" He says that to us almost every game. He said this year, whatever life throws at you, no matter how hard it seems, like it's just that's life. So you kind of just brush it off. You get back up, you stand back up, you get back on your feet, you keep going. So I think just that motivational aspect of it, being able to just take on whatever comes your way and move forward with life, with football, with whatever you're going through. That's probably one of the greatest messages that he's given me all season.
How fast has your time gone since you've been here?
Oh man, it's went by way fast compared to high school. High school was like the longest 4 years of my life. I think these last 5 years, I still remember living in the dorms like it was yesterday. I actually still live with my roommate that I had in the dorms off campus, and a lot of times we go back and we kind of just think like, man, it feels like it hasn't been that long, but it really hasn't. It's been 4 years since I was living up there in the dorms, and we still remember and we still laugh about the countless things that we've been through. So it's fun, just being around those kind of people. I've been around a lot of the same guys, still some of the same coaches, and just going back and talking through some of those experiences that we had. It's always great.
Do you have any aspirations to go into coaching or staying in football, like whether it be pursuing playing after college, or what are your kind of plans?
I'm actually planning on having a pro day here, see where that takes me, and then just off of that, see what happens, and then go from there.
And for senior day, what do you have? How many people do you have planned to show up, and how emotional will that be for you?
It's just mainly family, as many family members as I can get. Still kind of deciding the numbers on that, but I'm definitely gonna try to have as much family there with me because it could potentially be my last football game ever. So, you know, I don't think I'll be emotional because, truthfully, I'm not like a really emotional guy, but I think it's more just going to be nice to have that experience with my family, and, you know, we can look at it years from now and talk about, you know, remember that Stanford game in 2018, and, you know, just it's something to have, you know, memorabilia off of.
You went through the senior day festivities last year, right? There was
Yeah.
like a little bit of weird confusion with that. Like, what happened there?
I think that was just kind of something that Coach Fish wanted us to experience because really as an entire team, coaching staff and players, a lot of us didn't know what the future was for any of us. So for him, he's like, you know, it'd be good to just get that experience. You never know what could happen. So it was fun. Definitely a little weird because my family was thrown off because I had told him multiple times, like, I'm coming back, I'm planning on coming back. But he's like, you know, just do it just because it might as well do it twice than zero. So that's it. All right, and it was fun.
Do you know if the juniors will do it again this year?
I have no idea. I don't know what Coach Kelly has planned, so that's something you would have to ask him. But I would assume that it's just going to be the seniors that are definitely, you know, deciding on being a senior. But I don't know.
When you watch the offensive line on film, I don't know how much you watch it than rewatching the offense, but how have they improved since the beginning of the year? Because it seems like they're opening up some huge running lanes now.
Yeah.
And just giving more protection overall.
I think just getting comfortable with it. Even the receivers, if you paid attention to the last game, we were getting a lot of involvement in that blocking stuff too. A lot of it is just getting comfortable with the play calling. Coach Kelly does a good job of keeping the plays simple but complex enough by changing personnels or doing it with different formations, different looks to throw at the defense, kind of catch them off guard and with shifts and motions and all that. But we know our assignment at the end of the day. We know where we have to be, and it's really simple. So as long as we just do our job, and in practice we've gotten, I think, really comfortable with it as well. So when we get to the game, it's just second nature.